The Lion and the Bull, Episode 2.
Who is that individual approaching us right now? Does anyone among you happen to know him?
This is the son of that jackal, the one who was once your servant, my lion.
Yes, I remember his father quite distinctly, actually.
I pay my respects to you, my sovereign, king of the forests and the lakes.
Where do you live? What do you occupy your time with? What parts of the world do you inhabit?
I am always and forever at your complete disposal, my most honored sovereign. I consider your every wish to be the ultimate purpose and sacred obligation of my entire being. I am currently sitting here, awaiting your instructions so that I may execute them with all my intellect and skill. For within your vast domain, there are often matters that require the dedicated service of individuals of even the most unassuming rank. Indeed, in your extensive holdings, there is always a suitable place for both the humble fly and the wise old owl.
Even those individuals who occupy the most humble or seemingly insignificant positions can, in fact, bring about both considerable benefit and substantial harm. Sometimes, even a simple piece of dry straw carelessly discarded upon the road might unexpectedly prove to be quite valuable and useful. Should the specific need or occasion arise, it could be readily utilized to effectively cleanse one's teeth following a satisfying meal.
I cannot be a bouquet of flowers, that's for sure, but I'll be a log on the fire to keep you warm.
Having uttered these words before the lion, the jackal respectfully bowed his head, and without ever lifting his gaze, he slowly began to retreat to the side. Upon hearing these words from Dominaki, the lion understood the jackal wished to offer him advice, and he was quite surprised. After sitting in silence for several minutes, he then spoke.
People who possess talent and ability, even if they have no influence and are surrounded by enemies, will still, sooner or later, make themselves known and inevitably achieve fame and a high standing among others. Such people are like a torch. Have you noticed, when you try to extinguish a torch, its flame flares up even stronger?
Upon hearing these words from the mouth of the lion, Dominica was really happy.
And realized he had succeeded in pleasing the lion. And he was left with a profound sense of satisfaction regarding himself.
Meanwhile, our bull is peacefully grazing on the beautiful green meadow. He is eating the fresh grass with great appetite and truly enjoying his life.
With great enjoyment, he continued to graze and unhurriedly proceeded in the direction of the lake. Having drunk to his heart's content, he slowly raised his head, and in that very moment he felt nothing but a profound sense of calm and satisfaction.
People are absolutely right when they say that everything that happens in life is ultimately for the best.
Freedom is an absolutely priceless and invaluable gift, one that can never, under any circumstances, be replaced by anything else.
It is far better to live a single day in true freedom than to spend 40 long years in forced labor and in utter slavery.
After speaking these words, the bull couldn't even begin to imagine what the future held in store for him.
Meanwhile, the various events that are currently unfolding within the lion's immediate surroundings.
After the lion had finished speaking, Dominica, with a newfound resolve, finally gathered all her courage, and then she said,
All those who are in the presence of the king, the lion, must clearly articulate to him their thoughts, their skills, and the full potential of their intellect, so that the ruler, when making crucial appointments to various positions, can derive the utmost benefit for the prosperity of his state.
Knowing the depth of their intellect, their capabilities, and each person's level of thinking, and the potential benefit or harm they might bring.
If the ruler is unaware of the qualities of his inner circle, he will encounter great difficulty.
Upon appointment to a position and to secure the maximum benefit for the good of the state.
While the seeds are still resting deep beneath the earth, no one really takes any notice of them.
The moment they break through the earth's surface, like a precious emerald, everyone instantly recognizes what they are and begins to carefully tend to them to ultimately gain the full benefit of their fruits.
A ruler must derive benefit from the abilities of all, especially when making appointments to office. We ought to refer to these qualities and capabilities.
I am a bush of flowers, and I am the earth. You are my sun and clouds. I can bloom my flowers, if you forget me.
Subjects must be confident that the ruler appoints everyone to a position based on their abilities, intellect, loyalty, and merit.
But it cannot be any other way. A ruler must never appoint to positions of high authority individuals who are unworthy, incompetent, immoral, and uneducated.
Two things are unbecoming for kings: to tie a head bandage on their feet and a foot bandage on their head. Success in business doesn't depend on the number of employees, but on their ability to perform the task entrusted to them by the ruler. Wearing many precious jewels does not add value to a person, but it can easily bring great misfortune upon them.
Capable individuals, even if they hold low-ranking positions and don't possess much influence, still, intelligent people should not look down on them.
Because they are not from noble and wealthy families, they are appointed to very low positions.
And appointing incapable, untalented, illiterate people to high positions just because they're from rich and noble families doesn't reflect well on rulers. Rulers should appoint individuals to positions based on their capabilities and the benefits they can provide to the state. Rats live in close proximity to humans, but due to the detrimental impact they have, people often kill them. But a golden eagle, even if it lives in mountains and deserts, because of the great benefit it provides, people gladly catch it, tame it, and raise it.
And kings and sultans with great pride wear such an eagle on their arms. After Dominac's powerful speeches, he stepped aside. The attention of those around him grew, and everyone began to praise him.
Capitalizing on her recent triumph, Dominica requested the lion to remain with her privately. The moment they were finally left alone, Dominica then inquired, "La massas dalin sin chi dins?"
For some reason, my dear lion hasn't been out hunting for several days now. What could possibly be the reason?
This roar is the reason for all of this. I don't know who or what it could be, but I can only imagine that its appearance and sheer power must truly match the sound of that roar.
And if this is truly the situation, then there is absolutely no reason for me to remain here.
Tell me, my noble king, is there anything else, I pray, that might be weighing heavily upon your royal heart?
No!
For this singular reason, the king should never abandon his royal territories.
There's a saying, a large physique and a booming voice are not always a true symbol of strength.
If my king allows me, I can go and find out who this individual is.
And, having returned, to tell the king the entire truth about him.
The lion was quite pleased with this idea, and so he permitted Dominica to go off and investigate who exactly was responsible for that sound. But after he was left completely alone, Dean.
The lion pondered deeply and began to regret his decision, and he spoke to himself, saying, I have acted wrongly by agreeing to undertake this matter, because in the palaces of rulers there are many people who have received punishment unjustly.
Those who have lived a long, hard, and difficult life, having lost their position, respect, and their fortune.
Or, alternatively, those individuals who have earned a reputation for their overwhelming greed, malice, and avarice.
Or those who chose to remain distant from acts of kindness and virtue, or those whose recompense was significantly less than that of their friends.
He might develop a desire to betray me and take his revenge. This Dominica is extremely cunning and quite perceptive. She suffered for a long time within my domains,
and never received any reward for his efforts. If deep within his soul, resentment and anger began to fester.
Maybe seeing an enemy stronger and more powerful, Dominica will want to switch to the enemy's side and share my secret with him.
Lost in his deep contemplation, the lion would get up from his position, only to sit back down once more, awaiting Dominica's return.
and suddenly he saw Dominica far off in the distance, and his heart calmed. When Dominica arrived at his side, he asked,
"Were you able to see and determine who it was? Who is making that roaring sound?"
"Indeed, my noble lion. I have just come across a rather troublesome bull. It is he who is making all that dreadful noise, mooing and disturbing your tranquility."
Is it possible he's too strong?
I didn't perceive in him any trace of arrogance or pride, which might typically signify his power. The moment I approached him, we immediately began to converse as if we were old equal friends. Instead, I observed in him more of a pervasive greed than any genuine strength or true might, and consequently I felt no fear whatsoever in his presence.
And for that very reason, he did not consider it necessary to show him any greater measure of respect or deference.
It does not mean that he is a weak individual, and therefore you have no reason to deceive yourself.
I think my lion shouldn't pay attention to this. If you command, I can bring him to you for an audience.
And he will serve you with complete and utter humility, as if he were your own personal slave.
These words were extremely agreeable to the lion, and he commanded Dominica to bring the bull.